This is The Real Hustle, the programme which shows you the secrets behind the most popular scams being carried out by con artists in Britain today. Hustlers Alex, Jess and Paul have been travelling the UK to demonstrate to our hidden cameras exactly how the cons work, to make sure you'll never get cheated again. In this episode, we'll see how con artists can dupe you into paying money for worthless scraps of paper, scam you with a sparkling ring, and beat professional poker players at their own game. Remember, all the people in this show have been hustled for real, and after they were given their money back, they agreed the footage could be shown so that you can avoid being ripped off by the same scams. Our first scam involves 3 swindlers, a ring, and a pub. If it works, the hustlers will walk away with some hard cash just for sitting at a bar and having a beer. This is the Ring Reward rip-off. Number 1 on the hustlers' checklist. Get themselves a cheap ring that looks like it's worth a few bob.
How much is this one, please?
This one is £5.
£5?
Yes.
This little sparkler from the market will do nicely.
Thank you.
This scam depends on the mark believing that the ring is worth an absolute fortune and that the hustler will pay anything to get it back. But in reality, the ring's absolutely worthless.
Because they overhear the information told between 2 friends, it's much easier to accept that than if someone were to come up and say to you, you know, this is worth thousands.
They've chosen a quiet pub with a male barman that Jess can work her feminine charms on. Meet our victim. He'll be known as the Mark. Just a normal working day pulling pints for him. Well, so far. Jess enters the bar to get the scam into action. Her mission is to get friendly with the Mark.
It's a bit quiet in here, isn't it?
Yeah, well, actually the stereo is busted apparently.
The stereo?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It all sounds a bit...
I'm really sorry. Have you got change for 50?
Yeah.
I'm ever so sorry. It's all I've got. I've only got 50.
It's not a fake one, is it?
No, I promise it isn't. I promise.
It's pretty real.
It's my birthday, so I've got a lot of money on me, that's why.
It's your birthday?
Yeah. Thank you.
Pulling out the £50 note is all part of the plan. Now the Mark knows 2 things. She's wealthy and it's her birthday.
Hello.
Now Jess is joined by a friend for a drink. She is playing the role of the accomplice. Watch how she allows our hustler to bring up the star of this scam, the sparkling ring.
What did I get? I'm going to show you. Ooh. It's nice, isn't it? That is really nice. It's the one I wanted. How much was it? £3.5 grand. £3.5 grand?
Notice how a £5 ring from the market has been given a big markup and in full earshot of the barman.
She's taking me out. She's not telling me what do I have a spin?
The girls launch their charm offensive. This is known as the honey trap. It will make the Mark putty in their hands.
Oh, I just asked. Sorry, what's your name?
Drew.
Drew. I'm Jessica. This is Alex. So just ask me. Drew will be my stripper, won't you, Drew? Come on, let's get him some more pints and then he can come and be our stripper.
Now the Mark's been caught in Jess's honey trap and knows the price tag of the birthday ring, the first phase of the scam is complete and they leave the pub.
Thank you. Bye, Drew. See you soon.
Cue Alex and Paul. They are posing as a couple of mates having a drink, but it's their goal to get the barman to willingly hand over some cash from the till. The next move is for Jess to make the phone call to the pub.
Hello, the line.
Hi, can I speak to Drew, please?
To Drew.
Yeah.
Speaking.
Hi, Drew. This is Jessica. I was in here earlier with my friend Alex. Hi. Listen, I had a ring on me today. It was it's silver with a diamond in it. I don't know if you saw it. I had it at the bar with me, and it was in a black box. Yeah, listen, I can't find the ring anywhere. I must have dropped it somewhere. Or it's come out of its box. I was wondering if anyone hands anything in.
No, but just hang on a sec. Let me have a...
By using his name, Jess is talking to the Mark as if he's a trusted friend. This is all part of the plan to ensure he'll help her out.
You haven't seen anything, have you?
No.
It's in a little black box.
In a box?
Yeah.
It's down there.
Thanks very much.
Paul's confessed that he's found the ring, but he's not giving it up so easily. He wants to know what's in it for him.
Well, ask if there's a reward. It's a big bloody diamond.
Well, come on, it's her 21st birthday.
Oh, I don't know.
Ask if there's a reward.
Jessica,
Yeah?
we've got it.
You've got it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Whereabouts was it?
It was on the floor, actually. Someone's found it.
Someone's found it. Oh my God, thank you so much. Listen, oh God, listen, just tell them I'll give them a £200 reward, whoever it is. I really will. I've been so panicky. I've been looking absolutely everywhere for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
With Jess promising to return to the pub with the reward, the mark should now play directly into the hustler's hands.
I don't want it, but, I mean, come on. You take it to Barney, he'd give you money for it.
She said she's got 20 quid for it.
20 quid?
20 quid.
As the hustlers were hoping, the barman has lied to them and said Jess is offering just £20 reward for the ring. This means he's definitely on the hook. He wants to make some money out of this situation, so shortly he'll be offering to buy the ring.
Come on, it's like, if I had lost that, I'd want more money than that. I mean, come on.
Really?
Yeah, come on. That's a beautiful ring. I don't know anything about rings, but that's got to be worth a lot. Can I have a look? No.
To go.
50 quid. If we were dishonest, we'd have taken it by now.
Well, I didn't even have to ask her for a reward. She said, look, I'll give whoever that person is 20 quid.
50 quid.
50 quid would be better.
I reckon, yeah, 50 quid.
With some hard persuasion from our con men, the mark agrees to £50 and gets it from the till. And he hands over the same note Jess paid with just a little earlier.
Thanks. You're doing the right thing.
They've not earned as much as they planned, but our hustlers are still £50 better off for just half an hour propping up the bar.
All right. Cheers. It's a nice ring. I'd have paid more for that.
They leave the barman to await Jess's return. How long will it take him to realise that he's been scammed and given away money that isn't even his? But this scam has a lot more potential. Some people have made a living from it.
A few occasions we got results. Basically, the few times that we did get results, the governor's asked us to come back asked me to come back the next day, and he'd give me £2,000 for this ring. That's a good scam. That works. That one.
Paul, Jess and Alex are preparing for their version of one of the most profitable scams in the UK today, the Black Money Blag.
The black paper scam is a scam that's been played on real people. What you do is you convince the mark that by using a chemical or a special device, you can remove black ink from paper revealing genuine money. Not counterfeit money, but cancelled real money. I don't care who you are. If somebody comes to you at the right time and you need money, once you're convinced and you buy into it, your money will be in their pockets before you know it.
Our hustlers are at a car boot sale, one of the UK con artists' favourite places to look for marks. Our hidden cameras will pick up the action as they perform the Black Money Blag.
This is how to make money from the money they throw away at the English Mint. When they print it and they print too much, they send it to be burned, but they can't just send a van full of money. They have to cancel it first, and this is how to cancel it. They take it and they paint it completely black, just like that. They cover it with a thick layer of black paint. They wash it off. It comes off just like that, completely impossible to remove. Hold that up. Have a look at that. It's a real bill. That's real money. This isn't counterfeit money. It's real money that's been cancelled and has been sent to be burned. Now, it just so happens that some friends of mine opened up the wrong van at the right time, and we got a whole bunch of this stuff. Would anybody give me £1 for this? Nobody, right? Nobody's stupid enough to give me you look stupid enough to give me a pound. Give me £1. Just one. £1.
£1.
If you're not happy, I'll give it back to you.
I get it back.
If you're not happy. And if you're with her, you must be very, very happy. We have a solution here. Now, the idea of the ink, the reason they cancel it like that is because it's impossible to remove the ink from these bills unless you've got the right solution. And this really is a solution. They think it's completely insoluble, but if we apply this to the paper, it will take it off. Give me any one of those that you like. Just the one you want to keep. You paid £1 for this, okay? £1 for a black piece of paper. I want to show you exactly what you're going to do when you go home. Watch very carefully. That's your pound. That's the black piece of paper. I'm going to keep the pound because you're going to be very, very happy. All we have to do is take the black paper and put it on here. Now you can actually just fill a bath with the right solution, put it in overnight, and all of the ink will come off. But if you have a roller like this is an ink roller just like the ones that they use in the printers, but it's been designed to be absorbent to this material. Now we have a little bit of the solution, put it on here like that. Smell it, smells like lemons, okay? It's not just lemon juice, I guarantee it. Now watch very carefully, if you print that off, it comes completely off and leaves you, a little bit wet, but it leaves you with a genuine £10 note. That's a real £10 note we're holding a minute ago. Now, I'm going to sell these 10 at a time to start with, but if you want any more, it's real simple. If you give it a rub, it'll come off already, just with the ink that's on there. If you don't want to use the roller, just put the solution in the bath, leave it overnight. You'll wake up to a fortune. Now, I can sell 10 at a time with the roller for £30. You also get a bottle of the solution. If you get more paper, you're going to need more solution. Now, for £30, you get the printer. You get the paper. Now, this is like real magic. I've got 2 weeks to get rid of this. Buy in now.
How many have you got?
I've got enough for everybody here. This guy here, you've got to give me some money. £30, you make 70. Look at that, you made £70. You haven't even started yet. Just like that. Very good. Who else? What have you got? We got buyers. Well, you want one too, don't you? You've got your hand on your money. Do the smart thing. If this was just a magic trick, it would be worth every penny of £30. But this is the best magic trick of all. For £30, you make 100. And if you get more of the paper, you can just keep making money. Each time you print one, you make £9 profit. It is light, but don't let anybody know what's in there. That's another one.
So, Paul's amazing demonstration managed to convince these guys to part with £30. But what exactly did they get for their money? Just a few bits of white paper sprayed with black paint, a cheap printer's roller, and a container of washing up liquid which smells of lemons. And by the time they've realised this, Paul will be long gone. So, how did Paul change his black paper into a real £10 note? Well, when he said it looked like a magic trick, for once he wasn't lying. Because yes, it is a magic trick, available to buy from companies who sell on the internet to professional magicians. It certainly worked the magic for Paul, producing £60 from these gullible victims. So, what did he have to say when we revealed our cameras and came clean?
You know, most people are in debt for a start. So if they're going to get money, if they're going to get a way out of their debt by just making their own money at home, and they can get away with it, then why not?
One victim of this scam was so embarrassed to have lost £20,000 that we agreed to disguise his identity.
The police have said that it happens all the time, but I'm just one of the rare ones that have actually come forward. Unless you're working 9 to 5 and earning it, you are not going to get anything for nothing. Greed fuels everything. It's all about greed.
A proposition bet. Everybody knows a proposition bet. It's basically, I can bet you I can do something. Will you bet against me that I can or cannot do this? You're talking about something that sounds absolutely impossible to do. So most people will tell you, well, there's no way that can be done. But if you turn to them and say, yes, there is a way that can be done, by this time, they're so curious just to see how this is going to work that usually they'll just pay a £5 just to see what happens.
A proposition bet is a great way to hustle a few free drinks and a meal.
Paul, Jess and Alex have come to their local Greasy Spoon. Jess is going to try and get a free coffee with a classic proposition bet, the 3-cup scam. While Paul and Alex look on, Jess begins her scam.
Hi there, excuse me, I'm not interrupting you, am I? I'm a friend of Claudette's, she's a manager here, and I've been showing her a few tricks this morning, and she's just asked me to come over and show you. I've got these 3 cups here. All I want you to, I'm going to do something, I just want you to copy me. So, right, I'm just going to go 1, 2, and 3. So I've finished with all 3 cups facing mouth upwards.
Yep.
Yeah, think it looks quite easy? Shall I show you again, just in case? Okay. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. Okay. It was quite simple, didn't it?
It looks very simple.
Let me just set these up for you. Okay, in your own time, go for it. Well, if you get it right, I'll buy you a coffee. If you don't get it right, you buy me a crumble. And a big welcome crumble. That's 1, 2, milk and 2 sugars, please.
very funny.
Yeah, you see, it's a bit difficult. You want another go?
Yeah,
you know how it works, so 2 cups at a time, yeah?
Do it first again.
No, you do it. 1, 2. You can't do it. You're such a little cheat, you are. You should buy me a coffee just for the cheek of it.
You're going to buy breakfast anyway? I'll buy her breakfast. I'll buy her lunch as well if she wants.
So, what's the secret of the 3-cup scam? Like all proposition bets, it's impossible for the mark to solve. It's all in the way Jess sets out the 3 cups. You'll remember that the cups alternate mouth up and mouth down. When she lays them out for herself to turn them over, the outer cups are mouth down. But when she lays them out for the mark, she lays them out the opposite way up with the outer cups mouth up. So, it's impossible for the mark to copy what she did and get all the cups mouth up in 3 moves. Very sneaky. The mark never had a chance. Jess and Paul are waiting at this bus stop. Alex passes by and then posts a letter. All seems normal here, or so you'd think. You've just witnessed the postman scam. So let's take another look on our hidden cameras. Our hustlers are waiting in line. The mark is the woman standing in front of Jess. Jess is the pickpocket, or the dip. She carefully lifts the purse from her bag and passes it back to Paul. But how can Jess's arm appear out the back of her coat like that? It's because her arm is actually inside her coat, and the one you see tucked into her pocket is a false arm. This makes for a much more subtle steal. Paul is the handler. He looks on for Alex, who by now should be approaching. He's the postman. In his hand, Alex has an open envelope. As he passes by the bus stop, Paul drops the purse into the bag. All that's left now is for Alex to post the addressed and stamped package onto himself. Even if the mark discovers her loss, there's no evidence on our hustlers.
We've gone to great lengths to use the cleverest methods that we're aware of. Getting that out of your pocket, passing it off to one of the team, and then passing it off again, so that anybody who might be identified by the victim is completely clean.
Remember, these people are opportunistic. If you're slightly protecting yourself, they'll just move on to somebody else.
Our hustlers have invited 3 of Britain's top professional players for a televised game of poker.
When we decided to cheat at poker, we wanted to take on the best, and the Hendon mob are the best at their game. Paul and I play poker quite regularly, and we're pretty good. Without cheating, no chance. They would take us down probably every single time. Nothing can go wrong. Nothing. Because if you're caught, you're dead.
Meet our 3 pros. They are Joe the Elegant Beavers. Last year he won over 140 grand playing poker. Ross Boatman, an accomplished actor and pro poker player who has won over $500,000 in his career. And Barney Boatman, brother of Ross. Last year he won over 100 grand. They're in a group of players called the Hendon Mob. Alex and Paul are pretending to be amateur players who are taking part in a poker documentary, thus explaining the TV cameras. In fact, both Alex and Paul are not amateur players, but are excellent poker cheats. Paul is an accomplished magician and one of the world's most expert gambling cheats. He has trained for years at card cheating and can literally deal himself any hand he wants, when he wants. This is the poker scam. So, the poker game has begun, and they have already played a few hands where the Hendon Mob have been winning. So far the game isn't fixed, but it's about to get more interesting for our hustlers as they introduce their rigged pack of cards. This pack is the so-called cold deck, because it's not yet been warmed up through play.
The simplest way to describe stacking the deck is to just take a deck and set it up so that after the deal, you receive the best cards. So if you wanted to get 2 aces, and there were only 2 players in the game, you simply have to make sure that the second card down is an ace, and the second card after that is an ace. So you deal a card to them, an ace to yourself, a card to them, and an ace to yourself.
The Hendon mob always use their own branded cards, and the cold deck must always match the deck already in use. So, our hustlers have simply bought an identical pack off the mob's own website to use as their fixed. First, they have to get the deck into the room. Cue Jess for the smuggle. She enters the room to take a drinks order, apparently a waitress from the venue.
Any drinks for anybody?
A bit more water would be nice, thanks. I'll have a Coke.
If we look more closely, we can see that she has a deck of cards hidden behind her notebook. This deck's been pre-stacked by our hustlers, and they need to get hold of it to start playing their fixed hand. Paul's hand is in position, waiting to receive the deck. Will she manage it? Yes, perfect. The cards have dropped safely into Paul's awaiting hand. He is now in possession of the rigged deck. But next, Paul has to get them up onto the table and into play. To do so, he needs to swap the existing deck with the rigged deck in his hand. How's he going to do this? It's time for the switch.
This is where it all started.
Yeah.
Again, Jess is on standby to aid him. She's back in the room to serve the drinks.
And then we started travelling. We were kind of the winners in the game.
Right.
And then we started travelling around Europe, and maybe 1 or 2 of us would turn up, and people would say, "Oh yeah, where's the rest of the Hendon mob?"
Right.
Did you see it? If we look again, he's got the real deck in his left hand and the rigged deck in his right hand. As he moves the chair, he's put the real deck on his seat and the rigged deck up onto the table. It was very simple, but very effective. The rigged deck is now in play. Next up is the shuffle. Before every hand, the cards must be shuffled. But the cards have been stacked in the correct order, and a shuffle will ruin everything. Actually, no. Amazingly, Paul isn't really shuffling the deck here. He's using sleight of hand to shuffle, and then return the cards to exactly the same order they started in. This is the hardest part of the whole scam, and a skill that's taken years for Paul to perfect. Now comes the cut. This is a critical move for our hustlers. If the order of cards changes, their fixed hand won't work. Paul's indicated the point in the deck where Alex should make the cut. The moves are all over, but it doesn't mean that things are going to get any easier. The hustlers have to have given the professional players just the right cards. Too high and they might smell a cheat. Too low and they might fold. Just right though, and they'll bet thousands of pounds in chips. As planned, Paul folds. To win the game, the hustlers only need one unbeatable hand at the table. Luckily for Ross, the hustlers have given him a bad hand, and he folds too. But Barney has a jack and a 10, which has very strong potential. Joe has a look at his hand, and does a very good job of hiding his emotions. He's got 2 aces. This is the best hand he could hope for at this stage. Alex takes a look at his cards, and of course he already knows what he's got, a pair of queens.
It's 1,300 on top.
The Hendon mob have just put down £1,300 each, and they've still got 5 cards to see. They've definitely taken the bait. Will the next 3 cards reel them in even more? Now Alex has got 3 queens, Joe's got 3 aces, and Barney Boatman's very close to getting either a straight or a flush, 2 of the highest hands in poker.
2,000. Jesus.
Now it's time for the 6th card out of 7. It's the 2 of spades. Barney Boatman's made his flush. He's got 5 spades. This is where the pro players really show their skills.
I'm all in.
Barney puts down a huge pile of chips to try and scare everyone off.
Yeah.
2.
but Joe and Alex have gone all in too. It's time to see who's got the best hand. It's too close to call. Everyone thinks they've got the winning hand, but if the Hustlers have succeeded with their plan, this last card will be a spade and Alex will make a flush, beating everyone at the table. Paul turns over the last card, and as planned, it is a spade, giving Alex a slightly higher scoring flush than Barney and making him the winner. The cheated hand of cards has turned up trumps. Against the odds, Alex the amateurs managed to beat the pros at poker. The Hendon mob still don't know the game is rigged. For the next hand, they smuggled another cold deck onto the table, gave Barney Boatman 4-8, and beat him with a straight flush.
This is an absolute cold deck. That is absolutely ridiculous. No. No one's going to believe this.
Once the hand was over, the Hustlers revealed it was a scam. So, what tips have the mob got to avoid being cheated?
Don't be scared by this programme. There's no reason to be scared. There's no reason to go out and think, oh my God, everybody's cheating. The majority of the time when you play poker, you're playing in a controlled environment. And the best policemen at the table are the players. If you think there's something a little bit dodgy going on, speak up. If the cards haven't been shuffled properly, say so. If someone does a two-handed cut, tell them you want to see them cut again.
If you've got any experience at all, things will happen that are unlikely, that don't feel right. All I can say is that we make our living playing the game, and this hasn't worried us.
Also anything to add?
Yeah, don't play with these guys.
Yeah.
We had an advantage in this game in that it was dealt by the players, so we would get a hold of the deck. If we were playing the Hendon mob in their element, which would be in a professionally monitored poker game, we wouldn't be able to pull these moves.
And so our Hustlers have finished their travels around the UK for this week. They've sold paper claiming it was banknotes, raised a reward for a bargain bin ring, and scammed some serious loot from a rigged poker game. Don't worry though, all the members of the public they conned got their money back. Just remember the rule of the real hustle. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Next on 3, we have that brand new show that everyone's been really excited about here at BBC 3, as not only is the brilliant Chris Crudelli back, but he's back with some kick-ass miracles. Next.